I only use one candle to trade every single day. This strategy is so stupid simple that literally even a beginner really can't mess it up. This is called the 4-hour power of 3. In this YouTube video, I'm going to explain it as simple as I possibly can. I've been trading this model for the last 3 years and I've been able to get over an 80% win rate with it, get multiple 5-figure payouts from prop firms, and pass over $5 million in funding across Apex, TopStep, TPP, My Funded Futures, any firm you can pretty much name that's relevant in the future space. I've used this strategy to see success with it, and I've also helped many other people do the same. So without further ado, let's go ahead and actually dive into the model here and what this visual is basically showing us. So as we can see right here, we have 4 hour and 1 minute. What this is telling us right here, we have a 4-hour candlestick, and right beside it, we have the 1 minute time frame at the same exact time. Okay. Now, a 4-hour candle, a brand new one, opens every single morning 30 minutes after the market opens. So market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. At 10 a.m. Eastern, that's when this new 4-hour candle opens. So I typically like to wait that 30 minutes to see this candle open, and I'm going to show you why. So this concept is called open, low, high, close, or pairing it with a PO3, you can call it open, low, high, close, PO3. A couple of different names, but to make it simple, just call it PO3. So basically, what candlesticks will do, assuming you have a bullish bias in this scenario, the candlestick will first open, which is step number 1. Okay, at 10 a.m. the candle opens. Step number 2 is the candlestick will push downwards to make its bottom wick. Okay, that is step 2. Step 1, we open. Step 2, we make the bottom wick. After you make a bottom wick, price goes higher and the candle actually starts to put in its bullish structure, right? We start to push up, boom, candlestick flips green, and then we push up after making its bottom wick. Okay, that's basically just the anatomy of how candlesticks form. Now, obviously, ideally, with any candlestick really, we'd love to know exactly where the bottom wick is put in so we can catch the rest of the candle and catch the bottom and really the entire move. Now, basically the way you're going to do that is through flipping to the lower time frame. Now, specifically the 1 to 5 minute time frame. Now, when we open, we correlate that open, low, high, close with a power of 3. So when the candle opens just before or at or a little after that opening, price will start to accumulate or basically move sideways. Okay. After we move sideways for a little bit, usually we do that for long enough, around 5 to 15 to 20 minutes sometimes, to form some form of fair value gap on the 5 to 15 minute time frame to go and tap into. So we accumulate at the open, then we manipulate out all of those accumulation lows and into whatever fair value gap we formed over here. Okay, so we manipulate to make the bottom wick of the 4-hour candle. Okay, the manipulation leg in a PO3 forms the bottom wick of a 4-hour candle. Okay, now if you see maybe an SMT with NQ and ES at the lows, or maybe you hit consequent encroachment of like a high time frame gap, maybe you can bottom ticket. But 99% of the time, especially if you're a beginner, you're going to want to wait for confirmation. So what you want to wait for is for price to do one of two things. The first thing being a fair value gap forms from the manipulation to be closed above. So this candle would not get that inverse or closure above because the wick only closes above, not the candle body. Right here, the candle body closes above that fair value gap. So that is an inversion fair value gap. Now, the second confirmation, let's say, and this happens a good amount of the time, let's say there's no fair value gap, right? We have a wick here, no fair value gap formed. What do? You take a change in the state of delivery, okay? So basically, the opening price of the start of that move to the downside, which would pretty much be right here. Let's get rid of that wick. The opening price of the start of that move to the downside is going to be where we have our change in the state of delivery. So as you can see, that candle would get the CISD because it closes above this level. But yeah, that is literally the entry model. We're going to take a look at a couple of examples. But like I said, the strategy is very, very simple. You do need to pair it with super proper risk management and actual true prop firm strategies. Okay. 99% of traders don't make it, not because they're bad at a strategy, but because they can't find a strategy that helps them follow their rules or have someone to keep them accountable. That's why I do have a one-on-one mentorship program, which I just recently opened 2 spots up for this next month. Now, I've already thrown away 25 applications. If you do want to apply below and you're serious in investing in yourself and making 10K a month with prop firms, then you can go ahead and click the first link down below. But let's go ahead and take a look at a perfect A+ example of this PO3 setup right here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go all the way, and you can see this is just anatomy of candlesticks. We have a high time frame accumulation, a manipulation, and then our distribution to put in the candle. Anyways, let's go and find an A+ day, which I personally know just off memory is going to be December 24th of last year. So let's find that right here. Okay. Now, in this scenario, if you do want to learn more about daily bias, you can click the recommended video at the end of the video, or you can just look on my channel and look for the daily bias videos. It's going to help you determine your bias. Okay, so what we're going to do is mark at 10 a.m. Eastern, which is right here. We've waited for that, and that new 4-hour candle opens, right? Now, it does make a little bit of a bottom wick here, but we didn't manipulate or grab any liquidity or see a power of 3. So we're going to wait for a power of 3, right? What do we see happen here with the market? Step 1 of a power of 3 is accumulation. Price starts to accumulate right here. Okay, now we can see we have accumulated for about 15 minutes here. And you'll see that's where we manipulate into. But we accumulated long enough to form a 15-minute fair value gap. That's where I'm going to look for price to manipulate into and put in the low of the 4-hour. What do we do? Exactly that, right? We accumulate, we manipulate into that 15-minute gap. With the manipulation, we put in the low of our 4-hour candle right there. Now we're finally looking to go long. Okay, now what's our long confirmation here? Right before, we can clearly see a bearish fair value gap has formed. So let's go ahead and mark that out. That is our fair value gap. Once we get a candle body closure above that, that tells us, okay, we're pretty confident the low of the 4-hour has been put in. We just got an inversion. We're trying to see a reversal. Now comes the distribution and the upwards movement of this 4-hour candle. So we can set this at targets. Again, I have lots of other videos on targets. This is mainly just covering the entry model here. Boom. Super, super simple, right? It's literally step 1, accumulation. Step 2, manipulation. Step 3, inversion, fair value gap, or change in the state delivery. But even though this model is so simple, it's not going to work on its own, right? You need the time-based factor. The reason this power of 3 in specific is so much more powerful than any other random PO3 you see is because it's time-based, okay? This happens almost every single morning. Now, it's not going to happen exactly with a 15-minute gap every single morning. Maybe your bias isn't going to be as clear as every morning, but that's why you pair this and master it with other simple daily bias tips and ICT concepts that I consistently teach on YouTube as well as in my Discord. So hopefully you got a lot of value out of this video. Again, if you do want to apply for one-on-one mentorship and get 10K in payouts every single month with prop firms, then you can go ahead and click the first link and book your interview call below. But if you do have any questions about this entry model or want me to cover anything else, leave it in the comments.